They try to tell us that Palestinians are all terrorists, but we see through that.
To be a Jew is to be on the side of the oppressed, never on the side of the oppressor.
Nothing will change unless people make the change.
We can coexist together under a Palestinian government, inshallah.
We are outside 10 Downing Street, where scores of people have shown up in an emergency rally to protest Israel's bombardment of the Gaza Strip early on Tuesday morning. The bombardment had interrupted a ceasefire that had lasted nearly 2 months by killing over 400 Palestinians. On the very same day, protesters and activists in London showed up outside Downing Street to demand that their government end arms sales to Israel and call for an immediate restoration of the ceasefire in Gaza.
It's heartbreaking. It's shock. We shouldn't be surprised knowing what Israel is like. They can't be trusted. Everything they say is a lie. Their whole project is genocide. You can't believe a word they say. They try to tell us that Palestinians are all terrorists, but we see through that. We know it's not true. We know that it's innocent civilians, majority children, that are the victims of this. It's unconscionable, it's disgusting, it's abhorrent. We have to hold our governments to account, no matter how long it takes. You know, the axis of history curves towards justice. We have to embrace that concept of samud that we've learned from Palestinians, of steadfastness. So we have to make them realize that this cannot carry on, this has to end.
My name is Sam Weinstein, and I'm part of the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network. We're concerned with all of humanity, and we think a very big part of freeing humanity is freeing the Palestinian people and supporting their struggle. And we're absolutely horrified about what's going on in Gaza now. We stand in the tradition of Edelman, who was one of the leaders of the Warsaw Ghetto. And he said to be a Jew is to be on the side of the oppressed, never on the side of the oppressors. And that's how we feel. And we stand in a long line of Jews who have always supported the oppressed, who have been union leaders and social justice movement leaders. That's who we are. That's what it means to us to be Jewish. And we look at these monsters in Jerusalem and we don't know who they are. Israel does not represent all Jews. To be Jewish is not to be in favor of genocide. We are opposed to genocide, whether it's the genocide of the Nazis or the genocide that Israel's committing against the Palestinians. That's who we are. That's the tradition we come from. But one of the most horrible things about this is that it's a reproductive genocide, clearly aiming at children and women. They want to wipe out Palestinian people for the future. To be opposed to what Israel is doing is not anti-Semitic. We have every right to be anti-Zionist, and everybody has a right to be anti-Zionist. Everybody has a right to be against genocide. It is the crime of crimes, and if anybody should know that, it should be Jews.
I'm here as a representative of the Armenian community, especially the community from Nagorno-Karabakh, or Artsakh, which was also just recently ethnically cleansed. We stand in entire solidarity with the Palestinian people. We know what it's like to be cleansed off our land, to be indigenous, and to be completely silenced and erased. Azerbaijan fuels Israel's genocide because they pump fuel into Israel through the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline. Israel also depends on Azerbaijan for intelligence, right? And the other way around. When Artsakh was ethnically cleansed, it was Israel who provided those weapons. 70% of Azerbaijan's weapons arsenals are from Israel. We have an Armenian quarter in Jerusalem, right, where we have lived peacefully for centuries with Palestinian people, Muslim and Christians and Jews. And in 70 years of Zionist occupation, how is it that even that quarter is under attack? It is as easy as trying to understand where the products that you're are coming from. They only respect the dollar. They only respect the pound. And you can vote with that, right? Turn the product around and look where it's made and vote like that. If it's Israeli, boycott it. These are countries that support genocide. These are products that fuel genocide. Not in our name. Absolutely not. It cannot be.
My name is Rabbi Yaakov Weiss from North London.
Why are you here today outside Downing Street?
We have to do what we can. We have our obligation to stand up for the innocent people in Gaza. People are chucked out in the middle of the night in the West Bank. There's ethnic cleansing. People are being driven out of the house in the middle of the night by setting alight the houses. All been done behind tanks and government forces. We have this obsession of Zionism and don't realize this is a poison, this is a tragedy.
Everybody who knows a bit history, he knows that for centuries we lived together in harmony and peace. I myself was born in Jerusalem. I'm already 7 generations there. My mother, she told me she remember. We used to live in the Palestinian neighbors, such a good relationship. We used to babysit each other, the children. But the Jewish holidays, they bring over the children to the Muslim neighbors. In the Muslim holidays, they bring over the children to the Jews. We live so good. We can live in Palestine under a Palestinian government. And this is the only solution. When the Zionists starting, they have 700,000 Palestinian refugees. Today, there are 10 million. What's going to be in 5 years? What's going to be in 10 years, in 20 years? You can't quieten up these people. The land should go back and will go back to the Palestinians. This is the only solution. And then Jews and Muslims, we can demonstrate and show for the world there is no hatred between Jews and Muslims. The religion is not a problem. We can coexist together in Palestine under a Palestinian government. We hope it will be soon in our days, inshallah.
It is 8 p.m. and the protests outside 10 Downing Street are wrapping up after more than 2 hours and hundreds of activists turning out to call out the UK government's complicity in Israel's bombardment campaign in Gaza. They believe that only by an arms embargo and an end to commercial ties can the UK government effectively pressure Israel into changing its policy. That unless they continue to come out here and protest, the UK government will not realize just how unpopular their policy towards Israel truly is among the British public.